we're talking about blended learning and the administrator's role in coaching teachers and staff in the essentials of blended learning. So we're really excited to have Mr. Jeff Wesley with us. Jeff is the principal at Somerset High School. Jeff, thanks, man, for being with us today and sharing some of your journey. Now, listen, I heard you talk recently about how you and the staff at Somerset really worked pretty hard at engaging students through some digital strategies. And so I think there's some great takeaways for all of us as building administrators. So would you care to share a little bit of that story with us today?
Absolutely, and thanks for including me and asking me to be here, part of this, share some of our story. It starts last school year, and I know schools are all over the place as far as kind of where they were in terms of digital learning along that spectrum. We were probably in the shallow end of the pool last year, and we were really excited at the beginning of the year. Early in the year, I think we had a digital learning. Matter of fact, I think it was Google Classroom, G Suite of products. I think Laura Raganos did a training with our staff, and they were really excited about that. I was pleased at how well they kind of adapted and picked that up. I didn't mandate that everybody across the board need to make that their learning management system, but wanted them to kind of get their feet wet and pick it up on their own, and a lot of them did. We had some subsequent trainings hosted by one of our own teachers that was an early adapter of things, and so we had a decent amount of momentum building for digital learning going into the pandemic. Of course, that was kind of the catalyst that pushed everything forward. And if we can find a silver lining in it, I think this is one of them. It really pushed us forward in where we were with digital learning and using those tools to help students. So we realized at the end of last year, we didn't have NTI. Our school never did NTI. We rarely missed days for school because it's a small district and so on. But we began to see the value in, all right, if kids are not here, how can we more effectively deliver instruction? And so that was the natural lead in for this school year, and we knew that we were going to have to get everybody at least to some kind of a novice level of understanding of digital learning and a learning management system, and that brought us to some training at the beginning of the year. Myself, my assistant principal, and we tapped some of our teachers on the shoulder that we knew were early innovators of various technologies, and asked them to help share. And we did a kind of a 2 day, we called it a boot camp for digital learning, and just introduced G Suite, Google Classroom, how to effectively maneuver through those things and create collaborative experiences for students, how to work smarter, not harder, and then allowed some of the teachers to share some of the tools that they were already using and how effective they were. And we were really, really pleased in the beginning, just the camaraderie amongst the staff, the number of teachers that were willing to step up and say, hey, I do it this way. Now, if you do this, this won't work. Here's the best way to do that. And so, just that collaborative nature in the beginning was really, really big for us, and has pushed us much further down the road. Um, and that's kind of, I would say we are much, much further down that spectrum of proficiency with digital learning at this point, and our students are certainly the beneficiaries of that teacher learning, which is going to help with student learning.
100%. I love the parts of the story where you and your assistant principal became, learners as well, and trying to set conditions for the learning for everyone. And so that's really the kind of what a great coaching model, right? And so appreciate you sharing that with us. And so, and that you started touching on collaboration and student experiences, and really, you know the story that I've heard you kind of tell around this, and one of the things that you're big on is student engagement. And so when we think about digital learning experiences for students, how do we engage them? How do we meet them where they are? Well, that really touches squarely on 3C in the consecutive framework for teaching. And so I know you've done some work there, and this experience helped your staff grow, and it also helped you coach and provide some evidence. So, do you care to share a little bit with us about your work around 3C when it comes to digital learning strategies?
Yeah, for sure. Engaging students in learning is it's one of the things that I always stress as I do observations, walkthroughs, when we post observation conversations. How can we engage more students? And of course, I want to walk into a class and see 100% of the students engaged, um, really, and more collaboratively than not. And I want to see them fully immersed in what's going on and doing rigorous, meaningful learning. So, um, digital learning naturally lends itself to that. I think, as far as engaging students, they are by nature a little more interested when things become digital. It seems like, and they're willing to kind of stretch themselves and maybe do a little bit more than they would otherwise. It speaks to some of those other intelligences that kids have, and it makes it a little bit more tactile, I think, sometimes than Q&A sessions in class and so on. So I think it's been good to bring some more kids to the table as far as them becoming choosing to be engaged in their own learning. And then it's put some great tools in teachers' hands to be able to facilitate that engagement and to get their kids some fresh ideas about how they can demonstrate what they know. And ultimately, that's what we want, right? We want them to show what they know. And so this gives them some great opportunities. One good example that we had going into the end of last year, our school, I think one of our hallmarks is our school musicals, and it's been a part of us for the last number of years. We've got a great auditorium here at Somerset High School, and so our kids look forward to putting on this musical. And they were going to do Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella last year. They were excited about it. They worked so hard. The set was built. All of the stage props were built. Um, the costumes were ordered and so on. And then, the pandemic hits, and we're shut out, and we're not able to do things. And we kept trying and trying. How can we make this happen? Is there some other way we can make it happen? We were trying to figure out graduation at that time and all these other things. So we're going to record, and everything becomes digital. And but at that time, they weren't able to get together and practice in person, so they couldn't do their stage blocking and things like that. And so the teacher, who does a wonderful job, was able to. She just asked the kids, look, here's our problem. What's a good solution for this? And kids do what kids do best. They came up with a solution that was very authentic to them, and they said, well, maybe we could do it in Minecraft. And so they actually built this replica of not only our auditorium but our whole school. Um, Pretty accurate. I think if we went back and refined it, we could probably do some virtual tours of the school in Minecraft. But they did a great job. They created our auditorium in Minecraft. They created their characters, and they were able to practice their stage blocking. So they kept moving it forward, a bit more. Ultimately, they were not able to perform, but they were able to record some things, from that, and it kind of made a little time capsule of that experience and what that was like for them, and have been able to share that this year. We did just recently do our musical this year. It was great to have that back, and so they were able to incorporate elements of that to share with the community and their classmates and so on. But that's just one example, and that's really something outside of the classroom. But that same ingenuity and that same willingness of a teacher to ask students, "Hey, come to the table. Help me come up with a solution. Here's a problem. How can we fix that?" And that problem-based, collaborative aspect is so powerful in the classroom. When the teacher says, "I'm not the expert. I am, but I'm willing to let you come to the table and be experts as well. And how can we do that?" Digital learning provides that outlet. They can do that, traditionally with paper and pencil and in person, but there's something a little bit special about this, and it allows students to connect. They can connect across classes, they can connect across curriculums, they can even connect with other schools and other students, and just it opens up a lot of doors of opportunity. So I think it's a really powerful aspect for 3C and how it can engage students in learning.
Absolutely. It's a great story that really connects, meeting students where they are, being able to hook and, you know, pull them in and engaging and in learning. And it's fun that they used Minecraft to be able to solve that problem. It's authentic. It was a genuine issue, right? And so kids were able to respond, and the teacher helped facilitate that, and that's great. And that really connects us, Jeff. As a principal, you know the PSEL standards is something you've talked about staff growth, but PSEL is kind of one of the markers for us as administrators on kind of our role and how we can grow. And I know this has helped you. This is, I think, your second year as principal, so you readily admit you don't know everything. None of us do, and so I appreciate that about you. But I know your engagement, being really focused on that. Standard 4 in PSEL really speaks to that authentic student experience, student strengths, which really lines up with Module 4 that we're talking about today. So, do you care to kind of go in a little bit, maybe to its connection to PSEL Standard 4, curriculum instruction assessment, and how it's kind of helped you live that out with your staff this year?
Yeah, I feel like I've got into administration at a great time. It's been totally normal. Been nothing weird at all. So, in all honesty, it's been what's been best for me because it's pushed me to grow and to adapt and to um, just come up with solutions. Really, that's the name of the game. I feel like, obviously, I'm not speaking from a place of great experience, but um, I feel like there's a lot of things from the classroom that have carried me forward as an administrator that um, you look for ways to get better. You look for where's my weaknesses? How do I grow? Um, what's most important? How can we put the focus there? And curriculum instruction and assessment is right there at the heart of the most important aspects of what we do. Making sure that students are getting a quality curriculum, they're receiving high quality instruction, and they are um, we and educators are assessing them, but they're also able to assess themselves and where are they. So as an administrator, I know that a big part of my role is to try to help make sure that those things are going on across the school in a quality way, and also helping our teachers to continue to grow and develop capacity. And I think that this year, especially, with starting from the beginning with the digital learning boot camp and putting some tools in their hands and just letting them come to the table and say, "Hey, I found this new thing. This looks really cool. I could do this, this, and this in the classroom with that. What do you think?" And we just have conversations about it. And if it's something we can do, I mean, we'll stretch it and try to get a dollar from wherever we can and get that in their hands. Some of the best things in life are free, right? And so some of the best digital learning tools have been free, and at least a trial version. We may pick up more later on, but that trial is always free. So, we just try to do whatever we can to put those tools in their hands. And we started last year with curriculum refinement, refining our curriculum maps, making sure that there's certain benchmarks that we're all hitting across the board. And then the focus this year, I had intended outside of a pandemic to really focus on instruction. How do we create new and engaging instruction? And while we haven't been able to focus on that like we would like to, uh, had things been normal, it has, I think, sped up that process to some degree because it's forced everybody to find new solutions. And I've played a very small role in that, but I feel as an administrator, it is my role to kind of help facilitate that instruction and new tools and new resources wherever possible. And then making sure that we are assessing well, that students are assessing, the teachers are assessing, that I'm assessing myself as well as the staff. So assessment is just a core of everything. And then the digital technology and the digital learning that we have and the tools that we have oftentimes allow the teachers and students to assess themselves uh, more efficiently, more quickly, get better feedback. And so it's just that constant process. It's that cycle. And digital learning has helped us along that path, I think, to a large degree.
Absolutely, Jeff. Man, there's a lot of great information in your story, and there's so many other things that you could tell us today. So I want to make sure folks know that as part of this module, you've going to supply some examples of how you guys have been tackling this at Somerset, and also some contact information in case some folks have some questions about how you approached some of this, or questions about some of the artifacts that you're able to share with them. So we appreciate you being with us today, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.